everyone. Today I'm going to be swatching some new Roman Szmal colours that I picked up from my local art shop, Adamstown Art. If you're in New South Wales, in Australia, near Newcastle, you can find this lovely little art shop. Adamstown Art used to be a newsagent's. They now are mainly an art supply store, though people do go there to get their lottery tickets. They often have a huge range of soft pastels. That seems to be their primary favourite, but they have a really great supply of some unique and affordable watercolours. Roman Szmal is one of those brands. Roman Szmal is a Polish company and they supply some really beautiful paints. You can see over here I already have quite a selection of those colours, but today I've got a few extras. I couldn't resist. They had 20% off their full pans. So today I'm going to be popping them in this little tin and I will be swatching them out for you. For a start, I'll just unpackage one for you. You can see that on the packet, it has an actual watercolor swatch. It has the pigment information. Now this is obviously an earth pigment. It has a light fastness rating, so this is an 8. It is non-staining and it is granulating. It also has a little icon here to tell you if it is transparent or opaque. It also has a color number on it. So this is a 601 and that's just the color that it is in the range. On the base, it has the actual pigment name or the color name that it is given. What I've found with these, so they come with that paper wrapping and then a foil wrap. They also come with this little sheet on here. Now what I found is sometimes these are really sticky. I do have a little bit of a tip for you with that. I usually put them paper side down onto an ice brick in the freezer for usually 5 to 10 minutes, and that way they harden up and it allows you to get this wrapping off without pulling up all of the pigment. They're just really lovely watercolors where they're quite easy to re-wet. They're quite soft sometimes, which makes them really lovely to use in your palette. You don't have to really work at them to get the pigment up, but it does mean that when we first get this little piece, it can be tricky to get up. So I'm going to actually unwrap the rest of these now that I've shown you and pop them all in the freezer, and then we'll be ready to go. So I'm back. I've got all of the little papers off the top. I've also labelled the sides, so the pans don't come labelled. So I'll pop those back in. So now I've got a little palette. I got this little tin, got a few of them from just a cheap shop. Otherwise, I'm sure you can probably get them pretty easily online. And they just happen to fit these full pans. You kind of have to do a little jostling to get them all in there, but they do fit 8 full pans. We'll swatch them out and see what we think. I've given them a quick little spray. I'm also using today this number 8 round brush from Roman Szmal. As you can see, it is synthetic squirrel. I really like their brushes as well. Warm colors first. So I'm going to try and do a master tone and then a wash. Now, Hansa Yellow Medium is just a really common pigment. It's not a special pigment, but it's not one I currently have. So it's one I wanted to get. As you can see, they lay down beautifully and re-wet really easily. A lot of their colors do use honey, depending on the pigment. There's quite a nice little documentary actually about Roman Szmal, an interview on Jackson's Art, which is another place you can get these colors, which makes them a little bit more accessible worldwide than my small local art shop. However, I will say one of the benefits of getting them from my local art shop was they were actually quite a lot cheaper. Now that's not what you normally expect with local shops. So quite often we think that local shops are going to be more expensive because they have less buying power, but that's not what I found. Even the original prices, though these were cheaper today because they are on sale, even though the original prices, they are still cheaper than they would have been to get on Jackson's. So it's just something to think about before you assume that the prices are going to be more expensive locally. It's always worth going in, having a look and checking. So now we're going to move on to the Pyrrole Scarlet. So this is PR255. The Hansa Yellow Medium was PY74. So these are all pretty common pigments, but I will try to remember to read them out. So this is a really, really pretty warm scarlet colour. Really nice. Okay, the next one, Quinacridone Violet. So this is PV19. As you can see, it's quite a transparent colour, but beautiful and rich. The paper I'm using today is Baohong watercolor paper, 100% cotton. To be honest, I haven't been a huge fan of the Baohong paper. I just got some little pads, so really good for doing these little swatches. Might even lift a bit of that out. Wonderful. So that is our first 3 colours, and that's a really happy little set. I will get ready for the next set. If anyone can hear that, that is my dog having a dream. Alrighty, we are on to our next colours. So first we're going to go with this autumn green. Now this is the only one that's a mix of several pigments, so it's PG26, PY150 and PR122. I believe it's going to be a granulating and separating colour, so let's see how we go. As you can see, they're all really rich going down, which is really nice. They're all so nice to work with. Magic happens, presumably. To be honest, I expected a little bit more colour separation, but we'll see as it dries. It's still a beautiful green, really fresh meadow colour. And if we wanted it a bit deeper, with this lovely colour, Perylene Green. PBK 31, so technically a black pigment. I'm starting to see more of that separation in the autumn green. I thought there would be a little bit more of the red. We'll just have to keep watching. Now we've got this, which is lapis lazuli. So this is quite a precious earth pigment, and was the most expensive. But if I talk about the price, I paid $16.70 Australian dollars, and on Jackson's it would be nearly 30 Australian dollars to purchase the same pan. So I've got a bit of a bargain here. It would be so beautiful for a stormy sky. Misty ocean. Alrighty, let's wait for all of these to dry, and then we'll have a look at the dried swatches. So here are our colour swatches. You'll see on this first one that I did have my camera fall on this swatch. Which is why it's got a big cut on it. But you can still see the beautiful colour. So you'll see it's quite a cool magenta tone, a lovely warm red, and then we've got this beautiful sunny handsy yellow medium. And I'll show you some mixes I did with those later on. Next group. So in the end, this autumn green did separate out. It's not as red as I thought it would be, but still beautiful, mossy, bright, lovely green. The Perylene Green, beautiful colour, beautiful mixing colour. The lapis lazuli, as you can see, is granulated. It's looking really lovely. So that's how they look dried. Now let me show you some of the mixes that I tried with this set and also the existing colours I already had. So these are some mixes I tried. So these were really pretty up here. You can see a bit of colour separation. So this is the quinacridone violet along with the cobalt seal and blue. Then we've got the Perylene Green and Aquarius Black. Now that black is unique to Roman Szmal, and it's a really gritty, earthy black, and it's mixed really nicely with the perylene green to create this really interesting texture. Disappointed by Indanthrone Blue and Lapis Lazuli. I think probably the Indanthrone Blue is just too staining, too powerful, overpowers the lapis. The Potter's Pink and Lapis Lazuli are really lovely together. They're both really subtle pigments and they create a lovely muted mix next to what is quite a loud mix of the Cobalt Ceylon Blue and the Hansa Yellow Medium. That's granulated really nicely, created a really interesting green. Here's where I tried to see what I could do to make the autumn green a little closer to what I thought it would be when I saw the swatch before I bought the color. So this is really much more what I thought it would look like. And again, really interesting mix of staining and granulating colors there. This was the Aquarius Red. I don't think it was as successful. I think if I want the color to be a bit more like how I thought it would be, I'd be adding this permanent orange. And then you can see here, this adding the permanent orange to the autumn green, how it has this really interesting shift to this rather more intense color. They're both nice, and I would say this is definitely for a particular purpose, whereas this is a little bit more actually easier to use. So I'm kind of glad that it's this, but I'm also glad I can make this. Now, one thing I will mention with the Lapis Lazuli is obviously it's quite an expensive color, but you can mix a similar color by mixing buff titanium with that Cobalt Ceylon Blue that I have just here, which is a very granulating cobalt PB35, but you can see that by mixing those together you get quite a similar color. It's not as special as the lapis, but if you were looking for a similar mix that you could do without having to invest in one of these real mineral earth pigments, then that is an option as well. So I just thought I'd show you that as well. So that's it for my Roman Szmal exploration today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it encouraged you to potentially try some Roman Szmal colors. They're really lovely. I highly recommend. If you've got a favorite Roman Szmal color that I don't have, and you think I should try it, please pop it in the comments because I would be really interested to potentially try it. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.